Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Daily Dose. I'm Tara Nichols, and I wanted to come online today to talk about feeling stuck, or is this really something deeper? So many of the clients that I work with, the women that I work with, they really struggle with feeling motivated in their life. And oftentimes that will look like excuses, or they will feel like they're stuck, or they're not really sure exactly why they can't seem to muster the energy to move through their goals. They have really good ideas of where they want to go with their life, but they just feel stuck. And many times, whenever I have a client or I have someone who's, just feeling very held back, and they're not really sure exactly why, one of the things I like to do is to do a trauma inventory, because so often we go through trauma. We go through life, and life is very hard. We go through experiences in life. We experience loss. We experience grief. We experience disappointments, rejections, and those things kind of begin storing up in our body. And there are physical responses to the stress of everyday life and the pains that we can come in contact with through our experiences. And those feelings and those emotions oftentimes are not processed and not let go from our spirits, from our mental processes, our thoughts, and also from our physical bodies. And so that can often hold us back. And we're not really sure why sometimes, because we move past it. We don't want to think about the sad stuff or the trauma or the pain. And so we just kind of mentally move on. But then we have left all of the physical side of it. We've left all the cognitive side of it behind, and we haven't realized how that's affecting us in our current situation, our current day. We think we've moved on from it, but the reality is that we really haven't. We're just not actively thinking about it. So, one of the things that I've done this last year is publish a book. My book's called The Authentic Woman, 21 Self-Reflections. And, at the beginning of the book, whenever I was writing this, I had some friends read it. And one of the things that I heard a lot was, well, this book sounds like it's a lot like about trauma, and I don't think I have very much trauma. And then the more they started actually doing the worksheets and getting into the book, the more they realized how much trauma that they were actually holding on to, how much pain from the past, small disappointments, rejections were really holding them back and crippling them. And they didn't even know. They didn't consider that, because, they hadn't survived cancer or, had a major life-altering event, that they weren't victims of daily small traumas. So let's talk about trauma. Trauma is can happen in really big ways. It can be, like I said, major loss, car accidents, natural disasters, big life events that can really create a lot of significant trauma in our life. And trauma can also be small, tiny events that happen on a daily basis, kind of like sandpaper rubs away at wood. Trauma can just be that little small pelting of daily life that is stressful and painful and emotionally exhausting, and can over time build up, and it can equal feeling isolated, alone, stuck, depressed. Can also give you those anxiety symptoms we talked about in our last video, the hypervigilance, the racing thoughts, and those daily little traumas can really do a lot to just break a person down. It's scientifically proven that when we experience rejection, we actually experience it as physical pain. Our body personally exhibits the physical pain of the emotional rejection. So we actually feel that. And when your body actually responds in pain, the neurological process, the chemicals that are induced in the body to respond to pain, They don't get processed out unless you go through a healing, a process, a detoxing process. And many of us don't detox on a regular basis. I know most of us moms out there don't drink enough water. We don't take care of our gut health, our liver health. We don't do consistent detoxing like we should. I know that many moms complain about not having enough time to do self-care, and just doing a simple detox is one of the pivotal parts of self-care that I think is often neglected. And so when we have this physical pain, it gets stored up in our body in the form of toxins. And our body can't flush that out because we're not doing not only are we not preventing, the trauma, or avoiding, or keeping ourselves safe on the front end. And it's oftentimes really hard to do. You can't always prevent trauma, but then also we're not taking that time to heal afterward because our self-care practice really struggles. We don't have the time. And so I really want to just begin turning your attention, turning your mind back inside yourself. And I want you to stop and think about all the things that you feel like keep you unmotivated, keep you stuck, keep you resistant to change. And I want you to just do a little inventory. And maybe you can write this down, get a piece of paper and write down, okay, what's keeping me stuck? What's really hurting this process? I have these great goals for my life, but I'm really feeling, kind of trapped and kind of boxed in, and I don't know where it's coming from. And just do a little inventory of some of the things that you've had to overcome in the last few years that maybe are contributing to these feelings of stuckness, okay, and this lack of motivation. So do a little personal inventory. What have you gone through? What have you had to overcome? What's kind of holding you back from moving forward? Is this trauma related? Is this small traumas? Is this emotional rejections that you've gone through? Maybe, you were wanting a promotion and you were working very hard and that you got passed up for a promotion. Maybe, those daily bills that keep coming, the medical bills, or, family illness. Maybe somebody in your family is high risk or high needs, and you're having to deal with that every day. Maybe somebody else has experienced trauma and you are, that main caregiver, that compassion giver in the relationship, and you're trying to be there. Maybe you're caring for someone who's elderly. Maybe you're caring for someone who's very small, like a child. And if that's the case, more often than not, what you're experiencing isn't necessarily a lack of motivation. Maybe it's just the presence of small trauma, and learning how to move through that trauma and heal and let go begins with awareness. So one of the things that I like to do for myself, because I experience life every day, I experience my traumas and other people's traumas as a therapist. So I use essential oils. I know we've talked a lot about this. I use essential oils on a daily basis, not only for a physical wellness and to support my physical wellness, but also to support my emotional wellness. And as an empath and somebody who is very connected to people, I have to kind of protect my emotions from residual traumas or from these vicarious traumas from dealing with people, who are hurting and who are going through crisis. So one of my favorite oils, it's my most favorite oil, is Northern Lights Black Spruce. All right. And this oil is just so powerful. It's got such a high frequency. It really elevates and lifts my body, lifts my spirit. I use it, very, very often, almost daily, to really build my emotional resilience and to allow myself to kind of take time to recharge so that I don't get into places of feeling emotionally stuck or unmotivated. And I deal with that. I deal with that. And often whenever I find myself saying, "Oh, I'm not motivated," what I'll say is, "Oh, I need to rest." Okay. It's very simple. Instead of blaming myself for not feeling productive, giving myself what I need is, I need to rest. Instead of saying, "Oh, I'm not productive, I'm lazy, I'm being lazy, I'm unmotivated, I'm stuck," because that's such a negative concept to the idea. I've been working on reframing that into, oh, I need to rest. Okay. I've noticed this. This is what, now I can do this about it, instead of judging, how I feel or where I'm at. Just shifting that to, I need to rest. So how I use Northern Lights Black Spruce. I usually cup most of my oils. Whenever I apply them, I put a drop in my palm, rotate the oil. All right. Take a deep breath. Inhale that oil. Breathe it in. God, I love this oil. It's so wonderful. I apply this one to my heart, okay? Because I want to feel this as close to my heart as possible. All right. Apply this to my neck. All right. You have olfactory receptors along your neck, along your glands. All right. As close to my brainstem. Get it right up in there, back of my neck, and then the top of my head. Okay. I like to rub it through my hair. That way when people hug me, they go, oh, you smell so good. Just a little trick of mine. Put oils in your hair. So for me, whenever I hear people say that they're unmotivated or they're feeling stuck, the first thing that I do is begin honing in on what is really going on. Because that feeling of stuck and that feeling of unmotivation is really just a symptom to a deeper issue of what kind of rejection are you feeling on a daily basis? What kind of pain or loss have you not dealt with? What's going on underneath that's really keeping you in that position of, I feel stuck or I feel lost? So I really want you to begin shifting your mindset. When you feel like you are not motivated or you're lazy or you can't push through on your goals, take a step back and look at the bigger picture. What are you up against? What are some of the traumas that you're dealing with? Maybe it's in the past and it's unfinished and you really have to process through that. Maybe it's in the present. Maybe it's current relationships that are really challenging you and they're rubbing you, the wrong way, and they're really kind of presenting all these barriers for you. All right. As a deeper tool, if you want to really dig deep into your trauma, this is the book that I wrote, The Authentic Woman, 21 Self-Reflections. The first 7 lessons are all about really unpacking what's holding you back, what's keeping you stuck. Is it your resentment? Is it your shame? Is it your loss? What is really holding you back, and what is keeping you in this place where you can't push through and get your goals accomplished? You can get this book on Amazon. It's $19.95 on Amazon. It's an amazing book, 21 self-reflections, 21 worksheets, 21 grounding mechanisms using 21 different essential oils. It's a powerful book. I definitely recommend it. I have a group going through the work group study online, and it's really made some major impacts in their life, really changed so much. I've just heard amazing results from people who have gotten through and worked through this book. So get this today. It's on Amazon. I'll put the link in the comments below, but really begin asking yourself, what are you facing and how can you support yourself? And now that you know what you're up against, and now you know how you're experiencing your rejection and you're experiencing your pain, how can you begin shifting that into resting, into self-care, into detoxing from the trauma, into beginning to heal? What can you do to support yourself in that process? I really hope that this helps you. If this helped you, please find someone that you think that could benefit from this message and share this with them, okay? We need to start bullying ourselves into productivity and begin understanding what's really going on inside of us and how we can begin helping ourselves. All right, guys, I hope this message helped you, and stay tuned every day, 2 o'clock, for a daily dose. You'll see me here. Bye.